In 1889, 800,000 French families woke up with nothing. Widows, farmers, small shopkeepers. Their life savings had vanished into a hole in the jungle on the other side of the world. The man responsible? France's greatest national hero, Ferdinand de Lesseps. The man who had sliced the Suez Desert in half and reshaped global trade forever. Now, this same man was promising something even bigger, connecting the Atlantic to the Pacific, cutting an entire continent in two. And France believed him. 800,000 people put everything they had into his dream. But the dream became the greatest financial disaster of the industrial age. $280 billion in today's money, 20,000 dead, 510 politicians bribed, and a canal that the jungle swallowed back whole. The scandal was so massive that the word Panama became synonymous with corruption across Europe for decades. France tried to erase this story, but what exactly did Lesseps hide from his investors? And why was that canal physically impossible from day one? To understand how an entire country fell for this, you need to understand who Ferdinand de Lesseps was. In 1879, a decade earlier, he had inaugurated the Suez Canal, 100 miles carved straight through the Egyptian desert, linking the Mediterranean to the Red Sea. And here's what made it extraordinary. Suez was a sea-level canal. No locks, no pumps, no tricks. Lesseps looked at the desert and said, "Just dig a straight trench through sand." And it worked. The world bowed. Lesseps returned to France as a demigod. He wasn't an engineer. He was a diplomat. But it didn't matter. Suez had given him something more powerful than any degree, the blind trust of a nation. So when he stepped onto a stage and announced he would do the same thing in Panama, nobody questioned it. The Compagnie Universelle wasn't government funded. Lesseps went straight to the people. 800,000 citizens, ordinary people, bought shares. Farmers mortgaged their land. Widows invested their pensions. The logic was simple. If he conquered the desert, why not the jungle? But Suez and Panama had absolutely nothing in common. Suez was flat. Panama had a volcanic mountain range running through its center. Suez was dry. Panama received nearly 100 inches of rain per year. Suez was loose sand. Panama was clay, volcanic rock, and a river, the Chagres, that could rise over 30 feet in a matter of hours during a storm. And here's where the scandal begins. Because Lesseps knew all of this, engineers presented reports stating that a sea-level canal in Panama was unfeasible, that a lock system would be required, that the geology was fundamentally different. Lesseps read those reports and dismissed them. He chose the Suez blueprint, the plan he knew, the plan that kept his reputation intact. In 1881, the first excavators arrived in Panama, and the jungle was waiting. Lesseps' plan required cutting the Culebra Ridge in half, 9 miles of volcanic rock and clay. The goal? Dig 240 feet straight down to sea level. To put that in perspective, that's like excavating a 24-story building upside down in the middle of a jungle. But the Culebra Ridge was not a quiet mountain. The deeper they dug, the more the lateral walls squeezed the canal floor. The mass of earth on both sides pushed down and inward, and the bottom burst upward. Engineers would measure progress in the morning, and by the next dawn, the floor had risen 16 feet overnight. There's a name for this in geology: heaving. The mountain was refusing to stay open, and the problem didn't stop at the floor. The lateral walls, made of volcanic clay, collapsed without warning. Under tropical rainfall, this clay lost all cohesion. The angle of repose, the steepest angle at which a slope of earth holds itself together, was violated constantly. In 1886, a single landslide buried the entire rail infrastructure and 2 steam excavators in a matter of minutes. Engineers measured it. The mountain was moving 2 feet per day toward the center of the canal. They weren't digging a canal. They were fighting a river of earth in slow motion. And the machines Lesseps brought from Europe, they were bucket ladder excavators, the same ones that had worked flawlessly in Suez. Continuous chains of steel buckets that plunged into the soil and came up loaded. In sand, it was perfect. In Panama's clay, it was a disaster. The wet clay had a property called thixotropy. Under pressure, it behaved like a fluid, but the instant it stopped moving, it gripped the steel like a suction cup. The buckets went down full and came back up, still full. The material simply wouldn't release. These machines weighed over 50 tons. In the waterlogged soil, they sank into their own tracks. And the tropical humidity was so extreme that brand new equipment, fresh off ships from Europe, became useless from rust within months. The French spent more money replacing machines than actually digging the canal. And through it all, Lesseps kept publishing bulletins to investors, claiming the project was on schedule. But the deadliest enemy made no sound. Every foot of earth turned over created pools of standing water. And in ththose pools, the Aedes aegypti mosquito multiplied by the thousands. Malaria, yellow fever, the science of the era didn't know. French doctors believed in miasma, the theory that disease came from the foul air of excavated soil. So they dug more, created more pools, and more people died. 20,000 workers over the course of the project. It was said that for every railroad tie laid in Panama, a man lost his life. If you want to understand the human and political scale behind every cubic yard of earth moved in this story, the essential read is The Path Between the Seas by David McCullough, winner of the National Book Award. It's the definitive account of the Panama Canal. Link in the description. And this was the reality Lesseps' reports were hiding. The machines didn't work. The mountain closed itself shut. Men were dying by the dozens every day. 30% of everything the French excavated had to be redone from scratch because the canal simply sealed itself after the company went bankrupt. But the investors back in Paris, all they read was that progress was satisfactory. The question is, when the money ran out, what did Lesseps do? In 1888, the money ran out. 7 years of construction, and the canal wasn't remotely close to completion. Excavation costs at Culebra had blown past every projection. Healthcare costs didn't even appear in the official reports. And the machines needed replacing every rainy season. The Compagnie Universelle was technically dead. Lesseps had 2 options: publicly admit the project was unviable and return whatever was left to investors, or find more money to keep the illusion alive. He chose the illusion. To issue new debt bonds, the company needed authorization from the French Parliament, and Parliament wasn't going to approve a failed project unless it was persuaded. What happened behind closed doors was a bribery operation on an industrial scale. 510 French deputies and senators received payments to vote in favor of the new financing. 510. We're not talking about a handful of corrupt politicians. This was nearly the entire parliament, and the press also bought. France's biggest newspapers received subsidies from the Compagnie to suppress stories about the epidemics, the landslides, the graveyard of machines that Panama had become. The French public was reading fiction funded with their own money. In February 1889, the Compagnie Universelle du Canal Interocéanique declared bankruptcy. 1.4 billion francs vanished. The life savings of 800,000 French families evaporated in a single day. It was the largest financial collapse the world had ever seen. The trial was public and brutal. Ferdinand de Lesseps and his son Charles were convicted of fraud and mismanagement. Gustave Eiffel, yes, the man behind the tower, had been brought in during the final months to try to save the project with a lock system. He couldn't, and he was dragged into the scandal with them. His reputation wouldn't be restored for years. The political fallout nearly toppled the French Third Republic, and the scandal cut so deep that for decades the word Panama became synonymous with corruption across multiple European languages. It was the Enron of the 19th century, but with one detail no modern financial scandal carries: a trail of 20,000 bodies in the jungle. After the bankruptcy, the jungle did what it does best. It advanced. Within a few years, vegetation covered the rails, the boilers, the excavators. The largest construction site in the world became a graveyard of iron. Nature sealed the canal that the French couldn't open. 15 years later, the Americans arrived, and the first thing they did wasn't dig, it was study. They spent months analyzing every French mistake, every report, every landslide, every abandoned machine. And then they changed everything. Where Lesseps insisted on sea level, the Americans built locks. Where the French brought bucket ladder excavators, the Americans brought Bucyrus shovels, machines with enough brute force to rip out 5-ton boulders. Where the French ignored the mosquito, the Americans drained every pool, fumigated every shack, and virtually eliminated yellow fever from the site before moving a single shovel of earth. The Panama Canal opened in 1914, one of the greatest engineering achievements in human history. But the price of the first attempt was never repaid. 800,000 families never recovered their money. 20,000 workers never came home. And Ferdinand de Lesseps died in 1894 at 89 years old without ever admitting he was wrong. The Panama Canal isn't just a monument to engineering, it's a monument to arrogance. Lesseps didn't lose to the mountain. He lost because he believed prestige could replace physics. That fame could defeat geology. That money could silence the truth. The jungle proved it couldn't.